have to say I really love the segue into nursing. So that is my specialty, and I am a nurse that has been deploying with Samaritans Purse since 2018. And like many of you nurses out there, I was doing the bedside nurse. I'm an ICU nurse by trade, and one day I woke up and realized I should be doing something different. I had a desire inside of me to start to seek other ways to serve, and just really had a big calling to the nations and to use my skills around the world. Compassion and calling. The place where God calls you is the place where your deep gladness and the world's hunger meet. This is a saying that's really special to me. I know that we all have that drive inside, and that also that fear and that wonder of, can I do this? Can I step out of my comfort zone? Can I do that hard thing? And really battling internally with, how do I go and get out there and do and go in those places that the Lord is calling me to, but also facing those fears of getting there and being exposed to the hurting and the falling world. I want to share a little bit about my story. I think it might have skipped. So my story, 2 slides back, there was a photo of a girl, and she is an Ebola survivor. So one of my entries to Samaritan's Purse and one of my big draws was the 2014 outbreak in Liberia that Samaritan's Purse responded to. After witnessing that and seeing that going on around the world, I knew that there was something different that I had to do. But I also knew that this was crazy. Why am I thinking this? Why do I want to do this? Why would I ever want to go and put myself in harm's way? So that's something that I really want everyone here to wrestle with this weekend and think about. That patient that I took care of, she survived Ebola while her brother next to her did not. We cared for her for 3 weeks while sharing the hope of Jesus with her, praying with her, and loving on her and caring for her. By the time she was discharged Ebola-free, she was able to witness to her entire community of the hope and the healing of Jesus Christ. So just really want to encourage everyone with that. That story has stuck with me to this day. I would sit and talk to her from across the fence of the high and the low risk zones, and really just witness to her and love on her and care for her and let her know that she's not forgotten. Compassion and calling is not an easy decision. It's often hard, and it takes a lot of fear to step out into those unknowns. This is a photo from Iraq. In 2017, we deployed our emergency field hospital in a trauma response, where we cared primarily for mothers and children that were injured in their own homes, in their own communities as they were attacked by ISIS. The other part of this photo that I wanted to share is I saw this unfolding, and I was too fearful to apply and to go. And it took that whole entire year of the Lord really working on my heart and stirring in me and reappearing and reappearing and reappearing for me to say, okay, I'll give this a chance. I'll step out of my comfort zone and I'll apply for DART. And now I have the privilege of deploying all around the world with them. I've deployed over 10 times to really hard places that I'm constantly challenged in. You're never going to have everything you need. You're always going to be stretched. You're always going to be put outside of your comfort zone and wondering, am I going to be able to care for that person in front of me? Am I going to be safe? Am I going to have the tools and the resources that I need to care for those people? But one thing that always drives me is knowing that the Lord always provides. He always provides that very one thing, and I can count time and time again the ways that he's provided for us to care for that one particular patient in front of us. And whether it was being at the right place at the right time, there was one story that I really love, and I got my team stuck on an Air Force base one time, and when they were evacuating the Afghan refugees into Al Udeid. And because we were stuck on the Air Force base, we were able to do an emergency section and save the life of a mother and a baby. So I just really want to encourage that fear and give that backstory of my story. Here is another situation that I was able to serve in. This is Ethiopia and Tigray in 2021. There was a war that's still going on to this day that caused many to be displaced from the western zone in Ethiopia. And we Samaritans Purse have a long-standing presence in Ethiopia, and we were able to provide mobile medical teams into these areas, caring for 300 patients a day. Many of these that I'm showing you too aren't things that aren't going to make the big screen news. This is something that many around the world may not have known was even happening at that time. And just realizing that the Lord has placed us there and giving us the tools to provide primary care to many patients in need. This is a photo of our emergency field hospital. So we have been blessed as Samaritan's Purse with a significant capacity in airplanes and medical equipment to set up field hospitals in all sorts of places around the world. And this was in Ukraine in 2022. We set up our hospital in various locations. So in Lviv in the east, and then again in the west, and then in Izum in the east. And this is an example going back to that photo that I showed you in Iraq, where I was too fearful to step out of my comfort zone and be there. I was able to lead this hospital, not only just being a nurse, but I was the hospital director in charge of making sure this hospital was up and running and able to perform surgeries for those patients in need. Thank you. And this is another example, too, of the type of staff that we need. Not only am I a nurse, but we also need physicians and doctors and anesthesia providers and surgeons. We are always stretched with the things that we can do, and every single situation is something different. We're always stretched with figuring out how can we accomplish serving those in need. Our vice president always says, the quality of our work is the platform of our witness. And providing this first-class care to situations in need and immediately after disasters is really what allows us to provide a quality witness and really make a long-term gospel impact on these patients. This is following the Haiti earthquake in 2021. As many of you might know, an earthquake is a very sudden natural disaster, and it causes significant injuries. And Haiti has been through so many things over the years, as everyone has seen unfold. This was during a specific time when there was a lot of turmoil, there was a lot of challenges, safety-wise, and so this particular hospital, we were able to put in helicopters to get to the other side of the island where we were able to provide orthopedic and life-saving surgeries to those patients. Another thing that I love about Samaritan's Purse and serving this is that it's not just one type of thing. It's all around the globe. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow, and we are living in a fallen world. So we are responding to natural disasters, war, infectious disease, and displacement. So last year, I was actually scheduled to speak here and was sent to Malawi during a cholera outbreak to support one of our mission hospitals, Nakoma Mission Hospital. And we were able to provide nurses and doctors and run a cholera treatment center, providing care to hundreds of cholera patients during that time of need. And cholera is a very hard disease to treat, but also a very, very tangible disease. So you're able to see a patient go from death to life in front of your face. It's often caused the Lazarus disease. So it was quite a privilege to go and to serve there, just wanting to really display the vastness and the contrast of the types of responses that we're able to serve in. This last October, we responded in Armenia. So we typically respond by sending our field hospital places. And in Armenia, I was sent very last minute with the conflict in Azerbaijan and Nagorno-Karabakh that was unfolding. I landed on the ground and was trying to coordinate going to the border, trying to assess what are the needs of 100,000 people population fleeing. What are their needs going to be? I was thinking in my head that the needs were going to be primary care, checking the border to see people fleeing their homes. And when I got to the ground and was coordinating, I discovered that there was a massive explosion that occurred while the people were trying to flee. So we were asked to provide a burn team with burn surgery support, providing just surge burn care, which is a very complex surgery type care. So I want to go ahead and just share a video next over just sharing about that.
Samaritan's Purse has arrived in Armenia. We are treating patients with severe burns to them from the gasoline fire that occurred a couple of weeks ago.
Our medical team landed, many arriving after 3 a.m. And by early afternoon, our team was in the operating room performing surgeries on critical burn patients.
Many with up to 80% burn of their entire body and in very, very critical condition.
We are doing 6 to 8 major surgeries per day. This amount of burn patients would overwhelm any country. The hospitals here are doing a great job of taking care of their patients, but we really are here to help just build the capacity in the hospitals so that we can get through all of these surgeries.
Not only will these patients require surgical care, but they also will require a lot of psychosocial care and spiritual care.
I pray that you give each one of us the skill and the wisdom and discernment necessary to do the best possible job for him.
This is a very difficult and unique crisis. All of these people just trying to leave to safety. In many circumstances, their families, their livelihoods, but when they were just trying to flee to safety, a fire took many lives, and the burden is just so huge. Yeah, it's so sad.
We pray that they know that they are seen and that they are loved by Jesus, that He will not forsake them or leave them.
My hope for you this evening and this weekend, thank you, is that the hard things that are in front of you, the stirring in your heart to go and do the hard things, to be challenged and pressed and not knowing what tomorrow will bring, that you'll really press into that you'll lean into what the Lord is calling you to. I've been doing this for 6 years now, and I still, when I hit the ground, I still have no idea what the Lord is going to do, and that's what makes it so beautiful. So I just really pray that you press into all those things, take it captive, don't let that go.